um, for talking about a journal entry for homeless people. One of the techniques that you can use is to Google image search and then choose a location and start to describe it. So, when you're trying to think about the detail and the day to day events that somebody might record in their journal, it could be a series of journal entries talking about changes. For example, before someone becomes homeless, when they first start to become homeless, when they've been homeless for a while. So it could be changes for the worse, it could be changes for the better, it could be that you're talking about um, events rather than changes, I guess, or things that happen on a day to day basis. If we look at this picture, we can talk about the things that we can feel. For example, we know how cold it is, and these people have blankets and maybe a sleeping bag. The person sort of around here has their feet out on the cement and it's winter. We know it's winter because you can see they've got a ton of blankets. So you can talk about the cold, like the bone chilling cold. Um, and the cold changes other things. So if it's really cold and you can't get warm, you might be sick. You might be susceptible to getting a cold or the flu. If you've got joint problems, like whether it's muscles, whether you've got, an injured knee, whether your arm broke, 3 years ago, when you have weather changes that can affect and create like aching or hurting in your like in your injuries or old injuries. Um, Depending on whether you can find shelter. Have you got somewhere that's not in the rain? What happens if there's a storm and the wind comes and, rain blows in sideways? We can also talk about smells. So things like who's eating? Are you eating? Is it like, are you hungry if somebody near you is eating? If you're sleeping with a whole lot of other people who may not have access to a shower, that's probably not going to be the most pleasant smell. Have you got pets, for example? Are you traveling with your dog? Is the dog sleeping with you for warmth? So you would have animal smells. Um, how clean is the area that you are sleeping in? Sounds. You can see not only through sight but also through sound that there are lots of people walking around in this picture. So not only have you got constant noises, probably cars, buses, trains, when you cross the road and they've got the ding, 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 which would be very annoying. The sounds of people around you, snoring, footsteps, car horns. And what happens when you want to get changed or when you want to go to the toilet? Because there's no privacy here. So if you're staying here, like, where can you go to have some time where you're not in the open, where people aren't looking at you? If you want to get changed, if you need to go to the bathroom, do you have access to a shower? So all of these things would change the way that you look at things. We can see like a laundry hamper here. So how do you do laundry? Can you? And what do you do in the middle of the day? So where can you go or what can you do when maybe you have to carry all of your things with you? So, you can't go anywhere that you couldn't, say, take a suitcase, because if you leave your things out, they might get stolen and be gone. You also might not have much money to pay for anything. So something like the cinema is probably not an option because you have to pay to get in there. Also think about these people walking past. How are they, how are they interacting with you? Are they looking at you? Are they angry, disgusted, kind, sad? Do they stop and talk to you like you're a real person? Do they, swear at you or threaten you? Do they laugh at you? So these interactions with other people are going to be really important, and remembering that these people might have different reactions. So this person might ignore somebody, and this person might yell at them, and this person might be really kind. So keep thinking about these descriptions: grey, stone, cold, what looks like bird poo. So it's not the cleanest of areas. Graffiti. All right, maybe little bits of food stuck in the, there. So what other things have we got to talk about when you want to go into that detail, and how does that make you feel? Are these other people friends? Do you know them? Do you have conversations? Are you together for safety? Do you trust them? Do you trust all of them? Is it a helpful thing, or is it because you have nowhere else to go? Is this where you want to be, or is this where you have no choice but being? Do you think there's any hope that your situation can improve or not? And how and why?